I'm Nicholas Jacobson with Vendoroo. I've got James Phillips with PMI Corporate. James, so we're here at the PMI Annual Summit in the mountains over Salt Lake City. Fantastic view, and really putting the summit in PMI Annual Summit. My first time here, how many have you been to?
Man, this is my fourth PMI Summit and maybe one of the most beautiful ones I've been to. You can see I've got my flannel on. We're up in the mountains. We're at like 8,000 feet or so, my watch tells me. And welcome reception last night at 11,000 feet. So we're really trying to elevate our franchise businesses, through all of our partnerships and everything that we're doing. And Summit is where that all comes together. So we're really excited to be here.
Yeah, and it brings it to those higher elevations too.
Absolutely. Literally.
Yes,
Literally.
and figuratively. Great. So one thing, I know you're doing a maintenance panel tomorrow around 3 p.m. You'll be going over a bunch on maintenance. What's going to be the key that you're going to be trying to get people to take away from that?
Yeah, so there's really two main takeaways from our maintenance breakout tomorrow. And one of the biggest things that I think where this kind of starts from is we've identified within our franchise network, we've got franchisees who have 0 doors. We've got franchisees who have 10. We've got franchisees who have 150, 300, 500. And so what does a maintenance department or what does the maintenance portion of your company look like throughout those different stages of growth? And so a lot of what we're looking at during that time is employee compensation, which we're factoring partner compensation as a piece of that, because we understand that partners play a really crucial role in giving the franchise the ability to step away from the maintenance a little bit. What we know is that maintenance, more so than most things, takes up a lot of our new franchisees' time. A lot of it. And it's a lot of that stuff that they don't want to be doing. It's the stuff they don't like, right? And so we want to try to get that off of their plate. And so, partners, similar to like what you guys are doing, really allow them to escape that kind of grind that they're feeling weighed down with and losing steam and losing motivation, and dump that off, right, through somebody that's super reliable and focus on growing their business. Focus on getting out there, getting new owners, talking to realtors, and really focusing on growing the doors that way.
Great. Yeah, I mean, one of the PMI franchisors that I spoke with this morning was talking about his advice to new people to the industry and growing your business and starting your business is build your business at 1 door as if you had 100 doors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always think of how am I going to operate at scale with the minimal involvement for me, automate as much as you possibly can, and just make sure that as you scale, it doesn't matter how many doors your new prospective client has, you can bring them into your portfolio and you can manage for them because you know that you've built your system to compensate for that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's kind of the second part of the breakout that we're going to be doing is, in my opinion, we should be doing more maintenance. So we've been collecting a lot of data. And I don't mean in a bad way, right? I'm not saying take on properties that are just destroyed or anything like that. But what I am saying is that as we've looked at some data we've collected from our franchisees' actual customers, so their property owners, we know that those who are spending more money with us are actually happier. They're happier with our service. They're submitting higher survey scores. And what we've really drawn that back to is maintenance. It's really important that our maintenance is easy, that it's quick. There is no faster way to lose a resident or an owner than to having a crappy maintenance solution, So the second piece of this is really creating opportunity for us to do things like fall cleanups, spring cleanups, add additional value to them, things that they don't know that they should be doing, but they're probably doing on their own house, the home they live in, and to hopefully drive revenue growth that way, drive customer satisfaction, retain residents longer, retain owners.
Yeah, and preventative maintenance as well.
Exactly.
Like run the AC during winter and run the heater during summer so that if there's a problem with the system, you know about it ahead of time and you can schedule it during fall and spring when it's not peak season for the maintenance technician, and you're going to get the best rates because you were able to be proactive about that, and you get to go to the owner and say, hey, your AC unit is shot.
Yep.
you need a new one. We're going to replace this in 3 months. So let's start setting aside money to replace that so it doesn't hit you all at once. So you're not getting hit with an $8,000 to $10,000 bill. Instead, you knew about it 3 months in advance and we set that aside. So maybe you're paying an extra $1,000 out of pocket and you now have a new unit.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. It brings me back to, we focus a lot this year on the service profit chain. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's really about value and what steps or what results equal value. And so as you look at value, it doesn't matter just of the cost to the client, right? But also the results we actually get, the delivery of the service like you're talking about, doing things proactively, and their initial expectations. So just like what you're saying is, I think we're hitting two of those huge there, which are those initial expectations, right? Hey, let's plan ahead for this. And then also obviously the service delivery portion of that as well. So I think that speaks really well to a great maintenance program. And the other thing to add there too, right, is to all our property managers out there is, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it when that water heater goes out? Whose fault is it if that rain gutter pulls off the framing of the house? It's ours every time. It's ours, right? And so it's these additional value add proactive services that I think really create a lot of value for our owners and make you money.
Exactly. And how do you move away from only involving the owner when there's issue or a problem that their input can help you overcome? And how do you move away from being the bearers of bad news to providing a proactive guided experience for them and really focusing on that owner experience? And that's really one of the ways that I see to really elevate your maintenance cycle in your system, in your property management company, is providing that extra justification and showing your owner, not telling your owner, but showing your owner that you are an expert in the space and you are somebody that they can come to for advice, and you can provide that every time.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, James, I really appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast
thank you so much.
with us.
Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure having you.